with Nick Jerzak and Eric Jaworski in Ithaca College's VIC radio studio on Saturday, September 28th. This is the Game Corner.
Hello and welcome to the first ever Game Corner here on VIC Radio. Oh man, am I excited. My name is Nick Jerzak and I'm here with my co-host
Eric Jaworski.
And you know what, Eric, we've got a great set today. We are going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to be talking about the actual GTA 5 game that came out, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, not a week and a half ago, technically. So, basically, I got the game from GameStop finally. I was able to order a game, and it finally came last Friday. And about a week, actually like 30 minutes before we came here, I just literally just beaten the game, and it was so
it's a nice little surprise. Just to warn everybody out there who is listening, we are going to probably do a few spoilers in this segment of the Game Corner. So just to let you know, we're going to talk about an up for debate segment about whether the actual content of GTA 5 goes too far at 4:15. Around 4:30, we're going to talk to our gamer, Chris Myrie, as well as at 4:45, going to talk about the actual music present in GTA 5. So let's go ahead and start this up and talk about the game aspects of Grand Theft Auto 5. Jaws, what did you like? What didn't you like?
Well, we should probably start out with what the game is about. So basically, you focus on three characters. You have Michael, who is sort of a middle-aged guy, actually under witness protection for being a robber, and he lives with his family in Los Santos, or in Los Angeles, basically, and he's basically, there's a lot of stuff that's just going on with his life. His family is just dysfunctional. Then there's Franklin, a African-American who lives sort of in the projects area, who's really good at, like, stealing cars, and he meets up with Michael, and then suddenly they decide to, like, do some bank robbery jobs, and that attracts the third and most famous character, Trevor, who's a great friend of Michael's back in the day when they did rob. He learns about that Michael is alive. They join together, and they just cause chaos throughout Los Santos and get involved with so many problems as they try to rob for the Triad or the FIB. And so many stories, to be honest, with this game.
Yeah, and you know what? It's what makes the game interesting. In the past, we've gone through Grand Theft Auto games. We've looked at Grand Theft Auto 4, where we had what was his name? I can't remember.
Niko Bellic from Liberty City. Basically, he's not Russian, but I think he was like Slovakian.
Some form of that area in Europe, slash, Asia, maybe Russian, maybe Czechoslovakian, somewhere around there.
It was like he's Eastern Europe, basically.
Eastern European, yeah, there we go.
And it only focuses on just that one character. And I mean, he was an interesting character. He was trying to be good and all that, but it's really interesting how, again, we focus on three characters instead, which you get their different personalities, and you can almost relate to one of them. Like, I personally think I relate to Trevor being so wild and crazy.
And I guess that's our very, very first positive point for Grand Theft Auto 5, is that you get these many characters. This is the first time that they've ever done this, where they've ever said, let's put in more than one protagonist. And, I've played all the previous GTAs. I played GTA 2 on PlayStation 1.
I only played GTA 4 and the Ballad of Gay Tony for that, so those are the only experience I had.
I've done GTA 2, I've done GTA 3, GTA Vice City, I've played GTA San Andreas, and GTA 4. All of them have been great games, but nothing has come to a point like this where we've had more protagonists and where we've had a more emotional experience with said protagonists. You actually feel a lot for Michael and for Franklin. And, I don't get Trevor. I don't really understand him, but I guess you can say you've got something for him, too.
Yeah, he's just insane. He's just crazy. And yet, at the same time, as insane, as wild as he is, he does have some points. He brings up some good comments that make him wise in his insanity, which I enjoy so much. I love a crazy, wise person.
So what else do you like about this game there,
Another
Eric?
thing that's definitely is, especially since it's been over 5 years since GTA 4, honestly, the graphics are so much better. The lighting, it's so great. And not only the city, it's so active. There's so much going on. And you, like, run into a little thing. It's like, oh, should I help this woman, like, to get her purse? And there's so much activity I enjoy.
I'm actually going to question the map a little bit, simply because, there are big, expansive games out there. We've got the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim that had a huge map. You've got a bunch of other games where there are these very, very large maps where you're going to see NPCs walking around and all these sorts of things. But the thing that bothered me the most about GTA 5 is that you've got this large, expansive map, but you can't go in all of the buildings. In fact, sometimes when you go up to the buildings, the graphics just look like absolute awful. They just look really, really, really bad. Like they were maybe Xbox or PlayStation 2 graphics.
I mean, there is a certain limit to that. I mean, this has been a project they've been doing for 5 years, so it makes sense that there's certain limits that they're going to be able to do and some are not. And also, we still don't know what's going to happen for the online part since that's coming out on October 1st, so they might have that in there. But it makes sense because, again, it's just a big world with so much that's going on, and especially for PC users, I doubt you're going to get it because all the activity, all the craziness that just is in GTA 5.
You know, but that's just a different way of programming the game. I mean, you're not really getting anything. I mean, the thing that really bothers me is if you've spent 5 years on making such a large map, and if you've spent 5 years on making a great story for Grand Theft Auto 5, then why not make it so inclusive and so expansive that you can go into other people's homes and go into all these different shops and everything along a strip mall?
Well, that's just... We still don't have that technology, to be honest, and it's still wide. You're really reaching high up there.
We are.
I mean, honestly, when you're playing GTA, do you want to be inside a store? No, you're going to cause chaos out on the streets or wherever, to be honest. You're not going to be in a building. I don't care if we're not going to get into a building. Oh, that is so bad.
But... still, we are approaching this level of technology. We've got the next-gen consoles right at our doorstep coming out in November, all those kinds of things where it's going to be ready for the holiday season, where they are going to be able to get these next-gen graphics going. And, you know, it would be good if they showed a little bit of initiative towards that sort of thing by including that in GTA 5.
Oh, well, again, we might say this in the online. It's unsure yet as of now. But at least you're still able to go to a certain number of buildings here and there.
Yeah, and I haven't really done a lot throughout the previous Grand Theft Auto games, but one thing that really I think was really, really cool is the ability to buy real estate and buy stock.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is true. How in the game there's different areas that you could buy. You could like buy a marina where you could store all your boats that you buy online. Especially with the smartphone, you're able to get onto the internet. You don't have to go into an internet cafe like in GTA 4, which I found was very convenient because I barely went to the internet cafe in that. But also how you're able to buy stock, and I've not tried it yet because personally I don't even have stock in the real life, and I don't want to like risk losing tons of money as it is. So, but it is an interesting asset.
I mean, this idea that you can get really, really, really rich really, really quickly is complete madness. When you wanted to get rich really quick in Grand Theft Auto 3 or Grand Theft Auto Vice City, you were running over people and just collecting the money, praying that you ran over somebody really, really rich, and you picked up all the little green orbs just lying around them, and that is how you got rich. Sometimes
green orbs.
Well, that's
what they were. Are you thinking of Crackdown instead? No. I'm not.
Okay. It was these little shining green orbs with money inside of them.
Yeah, it was just cash, basically like weird cash stacks.
Yeah, and that's how you got rich in those previous games. Sometimes you would do jobs and that would get you more money, but the other games were also much harder to do the jobs if you really ask me.
But there's also risk that you lose money in the stocks, so that's also the factor there.
True.
But especially with the whole money aspect, a big time in the game is that you're doing a lot of heists, where you get to plan out, do I want to take the subtle way where I'll just like sneak in with maybe some like uniform, or do I just go guns blazing in? And it is actually an interesting factor, to be honest, and at the same time a little bit disturbing how you do plan these out and having to choose, I want to pay this top driver so he has a higher percentage for the take that we get, and yeah, so that actually is all really, really fun. I didn't get to see you do many of the heists, but I know what the plan was behind them was that you were able to
really, really plan this out and really, really go for the big, big money on these sorts of things. And this is something that hasn't been seen in a GTA 5 game or in a GTA game before. GTA 5 is the biggest one where you're not only going to be doing a lot more, but you're also going to be getting a lot back from it.
Yeah, and especially like with those different choices, you have different outcomes going with them. Like, again, I for the big mission, I did the obvious, like, we're just going to go guns blazing in. I got to, like, get this, like, driller that was awesome, and then I got to have Trevor fly in the helicopter, and then there's, like, another option where we would have to steal the armored car. I was like, nah, this seems a little too complicated. Let's just go guns blazing in. Or even, like, especially for the first one, it was robbing a jewelry store, and you either, again, go guns blazing in, or you put... First, you get construction outfits, and you go on top of the roof and throw some, like, knockout gas, and everyone gets knocked out, and then you just go in, steal the money, and run off. So there's so many options to do.
There are, and you know what? I think that was one of the biggest things that was going forward for GTA, is that we had these big heists, and people were really, really looking forward to those.
Oh, man, I'm still thinking about the one in the small town where you're wearing, like, Juggernaut outfits and with a minigun just shooting down police cars and helicopters. It was just like, oh, yes.
Is there anything that you noticed that, wouldn't have been the greatest of things to really add into this game? Or is there anything where you say, I don't really like this?
At the moment, I can't think of anything. I mean, probably more bank heists, even like, because you only do the bank heist for the main missions. There aren't any like, let's just plan out a heist. I want to do a heist. You don't have that option at all, which is really unfortunate. I really wanted to, especially because your characters get upgrades and like, their skills become better and better. That I was like, oh, maybe I'll be able to do it. But no, it's only for those like limited heists that you do for the main missions. So that's the one thing I'm a little bit, but it could be also, that's also in the online where you're able to plan out heists with your friends.
Are you disappointed at all with, say, how long the story has been?
How long it is?
Yeah, or how difficult the game actually is. For me, I've seen GTA 5. I've watched I've watched Dan, and I was kind of disappointed because you were able to breeze through these missions like it was absolutely nothing. I mean, these things were just so easy, and the checkpoints let you off at such easy areas where it didn't really seem like you were getting frustrated enough with the game sometimes. Sometimes the game seemed too easy.
No, it had its difficulty levels, like especially with the driller one, I had to like get the cops off me, but of course I'm driving a giant truck, so it's difficult to get the cops off. So there are those moments where you die a lot, but then again with those checkpoints, he was like, okay, I think I know what to do here and there. But also like with Dan, he got on day 1 and I got 3 days later, and I was catching up to him fast, maybe because I didn't do that many side missions, or like I didn't go golfing as often. I was like going straight with the main missions, and then I'm actually going to be doing more golfing or tennis as it is.
Well, I did have some personal problems with some aspects of the game, but we're going to hear that after this little break. If you want to get to us in the conversation, if you want to say what you liked about GTA 5, go ahead and tweet at us at VIC Game Corner. We are on Twitter. Also, you can tweet at VIC Radio. Just hashtag it with Gamer Love and with GTA 5. We'll be back with the Up for Debate segment of the Game Corner right after this. Stay tuned to VIC Radio.
Corner. VIC. America's newest sweetheart? Man, she likes cotton candy and puff.
I'm not releasing a sex tape for at least 3 years, unless my agent tells me to.
GTA 5.
Welcome back to the Game Corner. That was a little bit of a segment from Franklin's bit in the game where he does a sort of spy mission on some local celebrity.
Yeah, he was like the paparazzi, basically, and he records this supposedly like, again, America's sweetheart, and
she's in a very, very interesting position right next to a pool. Anyway, we're going to get back here to the Up for Debate segment. Does GTA 5 go too far with its content? My big issue with this, and I think this is a definite negative factor. In the past, we've had GTA games getting completely boycotted by parents and by everybody else, and it's starting to get boycotted now after the Navy shooting, which is. This game is bringing in a lot of new material and a lot of material we haven't seen before. We're witnessing a torture scene. We're not even witnessing a torture scene. We're taking part in a torture scene. Mm-hmm. We're looking at completely bare breasts in terms of women in this game, and I think it's a major problem. I mean, video games, I don't believe, cause violence, but I want to say that this does take the envelope way too far. What do you think, Joss?
To be honest, I'm used to it by now. I don't see anything, especially with the torture. I'm not surprised. It was going to come up sooner or later. I mean, there's already a video game with, like, topless women. I believe Metro Last Light. That had, like, lap dances going on with naked women that you could, like, see their breasts. So I don't really find anything difficult or anything wrong with that sort of, like, showing nudity at all. And it still has its, GTA 5 stuff where it's like, oh, we're going to go and have sex in the car. But, again, it doesn't reveal that many stuff, well, except for Trevor's nuts in a cutscene. But again, with the torture, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, we've seen, like, torture going on with so many movies and TV shows. It's about time that it probably showed up in video games. And not saying that it is a good thing that it is in video games. No doubt it is something most people are uncomfortable with. But to really understand how horrible, like, government tortures are, you do need to be that character who is initiating those tortures.
That's the thing, though. I don't believe that. I don't believe that you should be, even if, no matter who it is who's playing this game, if it's or if it's children, if it's adults, if it's teens, there is a rating system for a reason. This was rated M at its release, and you know what? I don't think that M rating is going to be enough for this one. I believe that this is one of those games that will have to be rated AO because of that adult situation. Mm-hmm. If you really want to see that sort of content, we've watched M-rated games. There's lots of blood and gore. There's lots of swearing and things like that. That's no big deal. We see that in movies and video games all the time. And in TV shows and everything like that. But when you get it into the point where you are the one taking the actions and you don't have the ability to stop yourself from taking said action to torture somebody, that is a major problem. That is something where I think that you have to get to the heart of the issue and say, you know what, this is more mature than we can possibly even let 17, 18-year-olds get into. Am I going absolutely crazy here?
I can understand maybe making it higher rate, but it does. I don't have, like, what it says on the back, but again, it still includes that torture and, like, actually showing nudity. But at the same time, we should just accept it. That is my opinion. I'm very open to things. Well, I can understand. Again, I understand why people are upset with the sort of content that is shown, especially as you're saying right now, where you do have that control. But again, that's the same thing where if you're even in that situation, you can't do anything at all. You have to watch it. You have to do it. And as I said, it's sending a message about this sort of difficult these topics that we have nowadays, especially, again, as I said, the government's, like, sometimes has to torture people to get information. And they have to do it by means of necessary, which is whether if it's waterboarding or pulling teeth out or shocking someone. It's real life. And that's what GTA has always been. Unlike Saints Row, where they do the extremes, they've always have focus on real life situations with maybe a little extreme stuff going on in there.
But as a society, should we be condoning this sort of action where we say, okay, here's what is actually going on, take a part in it, or should we be saying, here is what's going on, we should not allow this to go on at all. I find that the idea that we have absolutely no choice in torturing somebody, especially even if it's a game character, I feel like that in of itself is an issue.
Well, we were able to take ourselves in the suspension of disbelief because we know this is a video game. We don't have to worry about it at all. But yes, I do admit that it is sort of weird that you can't skip it all. But again, that's just the story. You can't really affect, like, what was it? That movie about the Osama bin Laden.
I can't remember.
Zero Dark Thirty. Zero Dark Thirty.
There we go.
Where, again, that's just the story. That's what they do. That's what these characters need to do. And it does seem a little... This is not Skyrim where you make the character. You're playing another character that you're portraying in this game. So we don't have that openness. We have... to do what these characters need to do. And we have the characteristics of Trevor, who, like, again, he does these tortures, but at the same time, he does feel bad for it. But he knows he has to do it. So, again, it's not an open world, so we can't really say, open where you make your characters and you have your character the way they are. The characters are just who they are, and this is a linear story with, of course, a few different endings to it.
If you have an opinion on this for yourself, feel free to tweet at us at VIC Game Corner. We are looking at the Twitter feed right now. If you want to give us a nice little call and talk to us about the actual game in between the sets, give us another call there, 607-274-1059 for VIC Radio. Okay, looking at the other side of the coin, there's been this new surge in politics recently about... especially after the Navy shooting, and it just happened that GTA 5 was released at that same exact time. Do we, as a society, need to get a list of all of the violent video game or guys who have bought violent video games? Is that going to be going too far, or is that taking a necessary risk for the safety of the public?
Wait, so you're saying...
So, let's just take it this way.
Give me an example.
Let's say little Jimmy, who is, 17 years old, can buy M games. Let's say that he wants to buy VIC GTA, or,
VIC GTA.
Wow, I can't talk.
He wants to buy GTA 5.
If he wants to buy GTA 5, let's say that he goes into the store, he buys it, and they keep a record that he bought it. Now... So I can't remember which politician wants to do this, but they want that list to be made available to them so that they can watch these gamers. Do we get rid of his privacy, or do we release his privacy to these politicians so that we can actually go ahead and say, oh, this guy could be dangerous, he's looking at GTA 5?
No. I gotta say no to that, because... Especially, there's a number of people, a majority of people out there know it's a video game, and sure, they may pick up, like, they may become a little aggressive at school or at whatever, but they know that the stuff that's going on is just a game, and they play the game, and they're in it, and then when they get out, they are in real life, and they know that they shouldn't be doing the crazy stuff that they do in this game. So, they don't have trust in humanity. That's what I'm saying with these politicians. Just
to play devil's advocate, because I agree with you completely. We can't just let people's privacy go out the window for the sake of safety here in terms of video games, because there have been no studies that show that video games cause violence or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But let's just say that there are people out there who might take this literally, who might take the game literally and say, oh, I want to go out and try doing that. How is it that we stop these people without getting that list?
I need a moment. Do you have an idea while I can think of a comeback?
Let's just consider. I don't know. It's actually a really, really hard question, honestly. If we've got these people who are perhaps mentally unstable, who or perhaps just take everything to literally, or are prone to violence anyway. How do we get rid of these guys, or how do we stop these guys from buying the actual game itself? Well, I guess that comes down to the actual parents of the people buying it, and if it's somebody who isn't a full-on adult, that's an even harder issue. But at least for teenagers and young adults, parents need to be more involved with the content that their children are getting into. If you know that your children want to buy an M game and you are not sure if an M game can be handled by your child, if you think that they might take it too literally or they don't know the context of the game or anything like that, then that is a situation where you as the parent would need to intervene and say, hey, you're not getting this game. I really don't care what you think and what you really, really want, and you really, really want the game. You're not getting it because it is a very, very controversial game, very, very prone to somebody getting the wrong idea. I don't want you having this game for your own safety.
That's a very reasonable point, and I understand it is sort of, to be able to, again, you have to be mature to play this game. You have to understand, and if a kid has been acting like a brat, he or she does not deserve to play that game because of the way that they're acting. And hopefully, again, with being a responsible parent, realizing, yes, my kid, he needs to stop playing this game for a while because he's really being affected by it. So it is a matter for parents to take action with what their kids are playing and just not exactly monitor and just if they see that you're becoming a little bit more aggressive or back talking me way too much and I need you to stop playing this game. And if they become better, hopefully they'll realize, yes, I've learned my mistake. But as for the adult, that is a little bit harder to manage. Hopefully, maybe friends might pick up saying, hey, you're being aggressive. You're taking this game way too serious it's just a game. Simple enough. They need to learn it's just a game, nothing else.
All right, well, we are going to get onto our second break here on the Game Corner. If you want to give us another comment, tweet at us at VIC Game Corner or at VIC Radio. Coming up in the next segment, we've got Chris Myrie, who is going to be part of our Talk to a Gamer section. And you know what? I'm very excited to see what he has to say about GTA 5. Maybe he agrees with us on some things. Maybe he's got something that we haven't mentioned.
Or he'll just tell his favorite moments in the game. I mean, there's so much.
There is a lot. So stay tuned for that right here on VIC Radio.
VIC. We're trailer trash. You and me. We were taught to do this.
Get a center, Michael. You have no center.
GTA 5.
You are back here on the Game Corner on VIC Radio. I'm Nick Jerzak here with my co-host Eric Jaworski, and we are sitting now with Chris Myrie on the phone. Chris, are you there? Chris? Hello, Chris. Hang on just a second. We seem to be having some sort of technical difficulty. Just 1 second. Okay. Hang on. That is not working. That's not working. Okay.
Do you want to tell us about who Chris is?
Chris is actually a friend of mine. He is another. He seems to be another part of the Park School of Communications. He graduated last year. He is an awesome gamer. He's been playing GTA 5 as well. Chris, are you there, buddy? We have not gotten Chris yet. Anyway, Jaws, why don't you go ahead and give us that list of things that you you want to talk about
on IMDb
while I figure this out.
I thought of just interesting stuff to say. Apparently, again, this is interesting facts on IMDb. Apparently, with a budget of approximately $265 million, this is the most expensive game made to date. And definitely the revenue has come in for this game since it, got $300 million for pre-orders, and of course, within the first couple days, it got $1 billion. So, I mean, that is a good thing. Obviously, this is the first game in the GTA series to finally feature topless strippers during private dances, and yeah, I'm sorry I said finally. But yeah, this game was apparently announced on the same day as Grand Theft Auto 3's 10th anniversary, so that is some big news there. Another interesting fact is that this is the first game to feature animals. I mean, yeah, because you play Franklin's dog, Chop, and to be honest, it was cool to be him for a while, but then he becomes useless later on in the game. There's supposed to be the app thing on iPhones, and which you could like train him and take care of him. But I've heard that there's been problems with that application itself, so it is just weird. Another is that apparently in the game, Niko Bellic, who is the protagonist from GTA 4, is briefly referred to by Lester while playing the first jewelry heist. He mentions an Eastern European guy who had made waves in Liberty City, but has gone quiet since. So it is interesting. I was really wondering if they were going to be talking about Niko Bellic, since he was a favorite character of mine. I don't know. It's just my Eastern European side that's just kicking in. Like that is one of the things I enjoyed about GTA 4 was the European stuff. So it's like, hey Nico, let us go bowling, and of course, like any person there is just, oh my God, Roman, for the last time, I do not want to go bowling. But it was an interesting thing. Obviously, the location Los Santos is basically based on Los Angeles, and other interesting facts. On November 3rd, 2011, Rockstar confirmed that the game will take place in Los Santos and the surrounding countryside, rather than the entire state of San Andreas, which was in, of course, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which I'm kind of right with the size. I mean, it's vast as it is. So.
Chris, are you there, buddy? I think I've got you now. No, hang on. I am going to retry to get Chris on the line. Just keep on going there, Jaws. Sorry, I'm extremely sorry about this.
This is all right. But I want to also compare Grand Theft Auto to Saints Row. Saints Row is also another like sort of series about, thieves and all the crazy stuff that you do. But to be honest, Saints Row is a little bit more extreme in a way. I played the first.
I'm now going to put you through, okay?
We have the first 3 games, and of course the third one features a giant dildo sword, which I'm like, oh God. And to be honest, the recent GTA kind of has that element, especially when you get high and you're like shooting clowns or aliens, which just made me laugh.
Okay, Chris, do we have you now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There we go.
We have fixed the problem.
Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
What's going on? I'm doing good, man. On my way to the beach. What's going on with you guys?
Oh,
not too much. We're just talking about GTA 5.
Yeah.
Very excited about this. So, Chris, let's just get into it, seeing as we've pushed a lot of time already.
Only 5 minutes.
What's your history with GTA? How long have you been playing this game, man?
Since 3. Since I had to pick up Misty for Luigi.
Really? You've been playing since GTA 3? I got you.
GTA 3.
I got you beat, man. I've been playing since GTA 2.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I mean, I played it before, but I wasn't an average fan until it became 3D. Kind of where you could see the person's face, not at the top of their head.
Yeah, I feel you.
For a moment, I was about to not buy this game because I was like, oh great, another GTA game. But then, literally in the last week, I was like, I gotta buy this game. So I'm glad I did.
I mean, I knew I was going to buy it. I think this is I knew I was going to buy it. I sold a lot of games thinking it was going to come back in the spring, but then they pushed it back into September.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, so I mean, I knew I was going to buy it for a long time. So I was just patiently waiting.
So what do you like about GTA 5? What do you like that they do? What makes it stand out? What that sort of thing.
I think detail-wise, it's very good in detail. I think they did a good job in making sure things are a lot more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they go into depth about a lot of things. I'm in Los Angeles now, and I gotta say, it looked just like LA. Liberty City, it looked like New York, but not as much as Los Santos, San Andreas looks like LA as I see it today. So, but what I like the different characters. I think the fact that each character has his own story, but they all kind of come together and you play one story mode through 3 characters is an interesting tactic that Rockstar took. So I enjoy that a lot.
I just like the fact, especially when you switch between characters and they're doing little things like Franklin's getting a piece of coffee or Michael is watching a movie at home, but Trevor's are just hilarious where he may be on the rooftop and he's drunk and then the next moment's he's near a beach and there's a bunch of dead bodies and he's only in his underwear, which just makes me laugh. It's just what? So.
Yeah, it's different. I think Trevor's the most developed character, actually.
Oh yeah, everyone loves Trevor. I'm just seeing all that craziness.
Who's your favorite?
I gotta go with the black guy, of course.
Fair enough.
But I think Trevor has the most developed story, so I enjoyed his character the most.
Like, how far have you gotten into the game?
I'm pretty far. I'm gonna say halfway. I haven't been binge playing it as much as I like to because I do have to do other things. But I think I'm halfway when I say this at 50%.
You find some interesting information about him later in the game, especially at the end. Like, you saw that cutscene. I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's just a really hilarious scene. It's just like, okay, that makes sense. Everything just comes apart.
Everything just kind of comes together in this one scene. You will see it. Trust me, Chris, you will see it. Now, you said what you like about the game. What don't you like? What do you think they could have fixed?
Sheesh. I'm not sure. Come back to that. I'm not sure what they could fix. I mean, first of all, I know what they could fix. You drive too much. Oh, there you go.
What?
Drive way too much in the game.
Oh, you drive way too much in the game?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Like, you just have to drive everywhere, which is kind of like LA in real life, but I'm just like, this is excessive.
Yeah, there is actually, I do remember I was kind of annoyed having, like, travel all across from the city to, like, the countryside and having to take the back roads or the highways. And, yeah, I do admit there is a lot of driving that goes on, but especially with the fast travel with switching between characters, that's like, okay, that's fine. But, of course, for those, like, missions, there is still a lot of driving that goes on. So I agree with that. That is true.
Chris, were you listening earlier to the show? Like right before you came on the air? Chris, buddy, you there? Hello? Did we lose Chris again? Is it bad? Sounds like we lost Chris again. Okay, we'll wait around a little bit until he comes back. We may push the segment into the final segment here in the show, but you know what? I think Chris is getting at a lot of great things. He's talking about how it's like actual LA and everything like that. So I think that's really, really great.
I was trying to figure out landmarks, to be honest. I was like, I want to see this, like, world's version of Disney World or Land, and I couldn't really find it. You do go to a Hollywood studio, which I suppose is kind of like Universal, or maybe more Warner Brothers, but it's like, I wanted to try to see the amusement parks that are in LA, and, well, to be honest, I don't really know that much of LA, because I've only been there, like, a few times, but it doesn't really have that many memorable sights, to be honest. Like, in New York, you're like, oh, yeah, here's Times Square, here's the Statue of Liberty. But, yeah, in L.A., you can't really recognize anything at all.
Well, that's more of an aesthetic argument. Like, are we going into the argument of Chicago and New York look better than L.A. does and things like that? Because that's an argument that we could probably have all day.
Yeah, that's true. But, again, each city has its feature, and I'm sure that they probably definitely try to capture as much as possible. I mean, like, there is, like, the airport where I do remember that they have, like, those color columns that just change different colors near the airport. So it was like, okay, I remember this. So
we're going to try and get Chris back on the air. Until then, I think he's been saying some really great things. You have to drive everywhere, but that's the story of L.A. in of itself. He said he was talking about how he likes the different 3-character thing that Rockstar has done, and it looks like he is back. Hang on 1 second. Jaws, take the mic.
Okay, stuff to say. I have no idea what to say about the game. It's what we've been already saying. I guess the little features, but I still can't wait for online. But okay, Chris, sounds like Chris is back.
Chris is back. Chris, how you?
I am back. I'm sorry. Los Angeles service sucks.
So we've heard from multiple sources, dude.
But are you kind of excited for the online feature that's gonna be coming out in a couple of days?
Oh, is it? Okay, I was wondering when it was going to come up.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. I was like, yeah, do I have to beat the game to get online? But then my roommate was like, no, you have to wait till October 1st. So it's like, okay.
Oh.
But
did they ever mention why you had to wait, or was it just something they just wanted?
They were probably just developing it already.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, even in the first couple of days, it's going to have, like, glitches or some problems.
Definitely some bugs.
Yeah, there's going to be bugs those first couple of days. So it doesn't surprise me. But especially how you're just able to like do so much with your friends, like do racetracks, and it's like, yes, instead of having to like bring my friends over and we only have to like play, but it's like, yes, we can move all around. We don't have to be in like these team death matches. It would be so awesome.
So, Chris, I've got a question before we go to the break. We're going to probably stick with you here on the next segment because the next segment is just talking about the music. We can probably just cut that for a little bit shorter. We really like talking to you here on the Game Corner. Do you think that there's anything that if you were listening to our Up for Debate topic, does GTA 5 go too far with the content? Are you a little bit disturbed by the ability to torture somebody? Are you concerned that there is actual bare naked breasts in the actual game for the strip clubs? Does any of that concern you?
It does not. It's Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Anywhere from killing people, sleeping with prostitutes. It's just GTA, so you expect it to go over and beyond, and it's a mirror of, it's fictional. So I think it doesn't go too extreme at all.
Could people take it the wrong way, do you think?
They can definitely take it the wrong way, but I think the people that take it the wrong way aren't the people that purchased the game. I think the people that take it the wrong way are people who heard about these things that go on in the game or has witnessed this secondhand and feel the need that, this is a little extreme for a video game.
All right.
Go ahead.
We are actually going. Go ahead and finish your thought. We're going to be going up to a break, but we're going to keep you on the air. Is that all right there, buddy?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. So if you have any questions for Chris, if you want to talk to us, give us a tweet. VIC Game Corner is what you're tweeting at. Just hashtag it with GamerLove and with hashtag GTA5. We'll be right back here on the Game Corner here on VIC Radio.
Hands can do incredible things. This is the sound of two hands helping to save a life. It's called hands-only CPR, and it's recommended by the American Heart Association. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life. For more information on this latest method of CPR, visit handsonlycpr.org today. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
The Game Corner. VIC.
Ban him. I can't ban him. He's my goddamn husband.
He's young enough to be your son.
Ain't the internet a beautiful thing, honey?
GTA 5.
I forgot my shades. Okay.
So we are back here with Chris Myrie. He is talking to us about GTA 5. We were just talking about whether GTA 5 goes too far with their content. You say that, no, they don't. You expect this from a GTA 5 game.
I do. I don't think it goes too far. I think it's just right. I mean, there's army games out there that show torturing, but you're just not a part of it. You don't physically press buttons to torture someone. So I don't think it went too far at all.
All right. Chris, this is a really great question. We've been going through a bunch of the games. We've got a lot of games that we're going to be set up to do on the Game Corner. And of course, we're going to be covering the new releases, especially, like Arkham Origins and all of those.
Watch Dogs.
Which games are you looking forward to?
Grand Theft Auto was the only game I was looking forward to be completely honest with you. I've been waiting for that game for a couple years, so... I mean...
5 exactly.
That was that, and probably all of us, but that came out a while ago. So, but Grand Theft Auto was the one I was waiting for a long time.
You aren't looking forward to Watch Dogs, which is sort of like a Grand Theft Auto? It's set in the
that's the one with the technology and I mean, I think it looks interesting, but I know very little about it. So I'm kind of a guy that gets invested in franchises and characters. So the fact that it's a new game, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. So I'm not looking forward to it as much as I would like a Grand Theft Auto franchise or a Call of Duty franchise. But I think it would be an interesting game. I'm interested to see what people say about it and how great it would be.
Fair enough.
You were in Chicago not too long ago, right?
Yes. I traveled to Chicago not too long ago.
Does the idea that it takes place in the actual city of Chicago with the actual map do anything to sway your opinion?
Say that one more time?
Because the game actually takes place in Chicago, where you got the State Theater, or no.
You have all the different streets and everything down to the exact grid of Chicago. You can go right by the Sears Tower, the river, everything like that.
Oh my God. I'm so
that's dope.
So instead of, like, again, as I was saying earlier with, like, L.A., where I don't really recall any landmarks, but that are fictionalized, especially like with Disneyland, you actually get to go along Lakeshore Drive or go to the Bean, or again, hopefully we could go up to the Sears Tower or
base jumping,
or well, technically Willis Tower, as we are supposed to be calling it.
We're gonna go base jumping off of Willis Tower.
Oh my God, so awesome.
All right, let's see here. We talked about what you're looking forward to. You said something about how you like franchises and all that kind of stuff, but with there are a lot of similar franchises. Did you actually look at Saints Row 4 at all?
Yes. I don't find it that interesting. I think Saints Row took a whole different spin when it did with 3, and it kind of got very, very fictional, whereas the first 2 of Saints Row were kind of similar to Grand Theft, where it was this individual or a group of individuals, gangs, violence, all that kind of good stuff. But now 3 and 4 is kind of fictional with mascots and clowns, and I just think it's a little too much over the top.
Yeah, very extreme. I agree with that. It's very silly.
I was watching some other people play it, and they were just jumping all over the place, flying to places. I wasn't too interested myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, if people want to actually play with you, if anybody wants to get on a game of Grand Theft Auto 5 with Chris Myrie, do you want to give out your gamer tag?
Yes, I'm an Xbox player, Xbox Live. So my gamer tag would be T-Block Kid, TBLOCK space Kid.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chris, for joining us here on the Game Corner. And
no problem.
We hope that you continue listening to the show. Give us some good information. You gave us a lot of good perspective on GTA 5. Thank you so much, buddy. Enjoy LA and enjoy the beach.
Thank you. Appreciate the game changer.
All right. That was Chris Myrie. He is our gamer this week. We talked to him about GTA 5. His gamer tag for Xbox Live is TBlockKid. You know, we already did the break, so let's just go into it with the actual GTA 5 music. Jaws, you had some stuff that you wanted to say about that.
Yeah, I was really wondering when the music would be available, and luckily, just only a couple days ago, it was available on iTunes. There are apparently like 3 different volumes, but you could buy the entire collection all on iTunes, and so I bought the entire thing, and I like it. I mean, it has its popular music, like, that's on the radio stations, like some by Tyler, the Creator, and a number of things, but of course, I need to talk about the orchestration, the score, which, I admit, it doesn't stick out that much, but at the same time, it's basically lounge, chill music. One thing I could almost think of it very similar to is like the Ocean 11 and 12 music, where it's kind of like got that heist music, or it's like, you know, especially when you're playing out, it's got like that rhythm and beat to it as you're robbing a bank.
Should we listen to a little bit of it?
That sounds reasonable.
This is one of their songs that's called Welcome to Los Santos. We'll listen to a little bit of that, and we'll just talk about it afterwards. So here we go. Welcome to Los Santos. That's Welcome to Los Santos off of the GTA 5 game. Jaws, you were talking about how we've got that chill feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I definitely feel it.
Yeah, especially with just like the groove guitar, and along with like almost like a clapping rhythm to it as you hear, and especially just like that trumpet. The trumpet just definitely kicks out into it.
I feel like I should be watching The Italian Job or something like that right now.
Yeah, but again, that is what Grand Theft Auto is. It is basically The Italian Job or Ocean's 11, because again, you're robbing and you gotta be classy. You know?
Definitely. And you know what? There's a big distinction that we have for the music in GTA 5, where we've got that sort of music where it's an orchestration versus the actual music that is present in the car, which is, you know, your typical popular music. What do you think that brings into the actual game itself?
Personally, let me talk about the radio stations. There's way too many radio stations, and I can't tell, wait, is this alternative, or is this rock, and this is pop? And the radio stations are not that distinct like they were in GTA 4. I was like, yes, Vladivostok FM. And I was like listening and hearing Schwein by Glowsko, and I was like so excited. But there's not really that much that kicks into it with, like, you know, when I'm driving the car. Yeah, there may be times where it's like, oh, okay, I want to play maybe this like country music since I'm in the countryside, but it didn't really stick out, the music choice that they had. So that's what annoyed me.
Is there any station that you would typically go to? Do you like the talk radio station? If it's your go-to, like you always have a go-to drink at a bar. If you can't think of anything else, is there a go-to station that you just go to?
I can't recall the names at all. Again, I don't really know the names. I've been told to listen to the talk show, and like I have listened to it. It is hilarious, as Dan has told me. But again, I just usually go to like the extreme. It was, I don't know, there's like an X in the symbol. The other was like the pop stations where they like play Rihanna or Britney Spears. I don't know, just 'cause. And then there's like sort of like a rock station that's right next to it, but I don't know the names at all.
Now, if we talked to Professor Peter Rothbart, he might say something to the degree of that there is some sort of part of this music that adds drama to the actual scenes itself. So if we've got any music during a cutscene that you can think of, is there anything that it added to the drama of something going on within it?
The only thing I can think of was like the bank robbery where, again, you're in giant body armor and you're in a minigun, and as the camera is zooming in, as you realize, oh, crud, you have a minigun, I think it was like electric power. It's like holy crap! Then hell rains upon you. That's the only stuff. And of course, like when you're fighting, it's like dun 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 dun, like really fast-paced action. That's the only moment I can think of where it's just like, that is pretty awesome.
Now you've got another couple of orchestrations here that you gave to me.
Mm-hmm.
We were set up. Mr. Trevor Phillips, Hillbilly Crank Dealer Blues. What's your favorite set of orchestrations or songs from the game here?
Well, as I said before, nothing except for the Welcome to Los Santos is the only one that sticks out. I think maybe it's the Hillbilly one where there's got to be like some weird sort of like blue music, especially for Trevor being a redneck himself. But as I said, it's just basically chill music and nothing too exciting. Maybe some dramatic chill in a way, but again, nothing really stands out.
I mean, I can see where it could, though. Like if you played some form of that Welcome to Los Santos while you're killing somebody, I think that it would set a different sort of mood than if it was just pure cutscene.
I mean, it's not a horror film, and to be simple, it is a game where it's just life and you just do whatever. And I can understand, like, this is weird music to be playing while I run over this woman. Yes, I understand, it is weird, but at the same time, this is only at the opening where you're not killing anyone, you're just driving. Or no, you're with your therapist.
Anyway, that is going to just about do it for us almost here on the Game Corner. We are going to have DJ Framjam, who is going to come up to the mic in just a second with her show. I can't even think of the name off the top of my head. If you want to give, it's Cityscapes?
It's Cityscapes, yeah.
Okay, Cityscapes here on VIC Radio, and your show is basically all about dedicating music to a certain city?
Yeah, well, I just believe that there's a really big commitment to local communities and their music scene, so I want to just highlight, I guess, cities internationally and nationally and show what they have done in the past and what they're doing now, so you can have anything from London to Phoenix, whatever people want. They can always request it.
So, what are you doing today, then?
I am doing Dublin because my mom loves U2, and I was talking to her earlier, and I was like, I'm going to do Dublin so I can play you some U2.
Okay, so you just gotta tell us when you're gonna play music from Chicago, please.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm doing Chicago. I'm obsessed with the blues. Oh my gosh. So
tell us when you're gonna be doing it. Actually, well, we'll probably be meeting up with you here anyways.
If you want to join me on that show, you're more than welcome to.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
We would definitely be interested in joining you for that show.
I think I'm gonna do it within the next few weeks, so I'll let you guys know.
Sounds
All
great.
right. Anyway, before we hand things over to Framjam for her show, got a lot of big thank yous. First off to Mr. Dave Sperling and Mr. Patrick Hayes for giving us this show, this great opportunity. Of course, to the manager of radio operations, Chris Wheatley.
And also, we got to thank our guest today, Chris
Myrie. He did an excellent job. Definitely a great interview. Thank you for coming on the air with us. This has been the Game Corner, and next week, tune in again, same time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time here in the VIC Radio studio. Next week, we're going to be focusing on the Elder Scrolls game series. For VIC Radio, I'm Nick Jerzak.
I'm Eric Jaworski.
And we're going to hand it off to Cityscapes. Should we just play the first song here, Marissa?
Yeah, just start it right now.